Welcome to Conversations at Closing. I'm your host, Jake Schoemann. This is Conversations with real people in real estate. Cue the music. It's time for the best three letters in this industry, CTC. My guest today is Jonathan Newby.
Yes.
Who now will forever be mentioned and known as Newby in this conversation.
I guess so, yeah.
Because nobody knows your first name.
No, I don't think so.
Whenever I say, oh, I'm working with Jonathan,
No one knows
like,
that.
who the heck is Jonathan?
No one knows Jonathan, and that's okay.
How did that originate? Like, why did everybody start calling you Newby?
I started like when I was a kid, like third grade. There were three Jonathans. So I was Newby. And then I don't know how it happened in college. Sports, everyone calls you by your last name, and it just kind of took off. And it's the last name that no one really has.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Which leads into you have a social media show. It's called Newby's List for Newbies. We'll tag it in the descriptions below.
Appreciate that.
It's something that I've supported as a sponsor of yours
You have.
for a long time. I'm passionate about it because you bring light to places within really the surrounding area of Milwaukee, not just
Sure.
Milwaukee, to show people the cool side of this area.
I think
How do you describe it? Maybe the show, or the whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, the show, sure. I think that Milwaukee is a place that's not full of non-native people. You're either from here or you've left and you've come back. And I think that what happens in those instances is that people, they kind of stick with what they know, for right or for wrong.
Sure.
They just like, this is what I do. And I think that there's so much that Milwaukee has to offer. And I think there's so many people and local business owners are putting out products that aren't just great here locally, but they're good regionally, they're good nationally. And I think that there needs to be more attention put on them. To me, selling houses is great, but I think people buy communities, they don't just buy houses.
Sure.
And so what's your life going to be like if you live in Mequon?
Yeah.
If I live in Western Mequon and there's a new build community out there and there's a house and I'm just getting my feet wet, I don't know, anything about the area. I see a video. I know that Sally at Laterre has an amazing florist shop there. I know that, Spur 16 and the people who have developed that area have put an incredible public market out there. There are things that are being offered that might not be on people's radars, that once they become knowledgeable of them, they start to give it real consideration.
Yeah.
And so this is what it's like to live here. If you live in Whitefish Bay, you are going to go to Fit Season and get your prescriptions, and you're going to, your kids are going to want to get Pete's Pops down the street, and you're going to want to, pop by Forage like my wife did for lunch today to get a salad. And it's just how you will live in these areas. And I think that, it's fun to do.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Obviously you started that because you're in real estate.
Sure.
You're a super successful realtor.
That's right.
I appreciate working with you. I know that your clients love working with you, but that leads me to the fact that you're just a likable individual. Whenever I talk about Newby, people always say, "Oh, he's so likable." Where does that come from? Is that mom, dad? Like, why are you such a bam? You light up the room.
I think it's just the fear of not being liked, and that's a crutch. It's a problem, but I just I don't know. I just don't want people to have a bad thing to say about me. And I want to be able to I want to genuinely. I love people. It's in me. I can relate to anybody from anywhere, from any background. I can be friends with almost anybody, in all honesty, as long as you're a good person. And I think what it really comes down to is I just want very much so for, my reputation to be a positive one. I don't want someone to say my name and it to have a bad taste on their mouth. I don't want people to hear my name and that guy. I just want to be a person who does good and is nice and treats people right. And if that's supporting businesses, if that's helping my clients get what they need, whatever it is, I just love people, honestly.
Yeah, I think reputation is the most valuable thing in our
Sure.
industry, right? And you're a great example of that. You're from Georgia originally.
That's right.
You are now...
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs. Calm down. But you're from Georgia originally. Originally, tell us your story of how you kind of came up here and then became a part of up here.
Sure. Moved here right smack dab in the middle of high school. My dad used to run hospitals. Had an opportunity to run a hospital up here. Took the job. I went to Marquette. My freshman year at Marquette, my family moved back down south. So I've kind of been here on my own since I've been an adult. It was almost like they dropped me off and they headed back. And I loved Marquette, so I stayed. And I thought I would eventually go back down there and started working in nightclubs because I didn't. I had this like love for the nightlife industry because of my first boss, Mike Vitucci, and I learned a lot about the potential in that business. And like he was a family man, they had a cool job and really cool cars, and I didn't see anything wrong with any of that. And so I thought, growing up in Atlanta, everything is so spread out and sprawled out that, my parents working, corporate jobs and or in healthcare. My mother was a speech pathologist, my father, hospital administrator. But basically, like they leave the house first thing in the morning, they get home at the end of the day. And usually it was going from wherever they were working to, one of my baseball games or practices or whatever it was going to be. And so like the idea of like seeing each other during the day or having flexibility didn't really exist. And that job just beamed flexibility. It was like, you're going to go pop by one bar, check out, make sure everything's all right, go see your wife. He had a younger son at the time. Like it's just like being able to be around the family and also be successful. And I thought that was really cool. And I never ended up making myself a bar guy, like, owning my own spots. But, real estate kind of gave me that flexibility too. And so I thought it was a cool concept initially. I got into real estate because I wanted to get money to open up my own bar and that I could do it part-time and figure it all out. And then 3 months into it, I was like, let's do this full time.
Yeah, that's cool, man. So you're Mr. Milwaukee now, in my opinion. Like, I feel like everybody knows you, or you're one step away from anybody in the city, right? Like, if I needed to meet the mayor, I could just text you and be like, yeah, let me get you his number real quick. So you're like Mr. Milwaukee. And I love and appreciate that about you because you're totally honest about everything in the city. So what is one hill you'll die on when it comes to Milwaukee?
Milwaukee's the next great American city.
Love it.
Full stop.
Explain why you think that is.
I think that Milwaukee has an opportunity to be the Midwest version of Boston. It's a landlocked area. It's next to a major metropolitan area with like Boston as New York. We have Chicago. I think that it's an if you know kind of place. I think the best thing in the world is introducing people to Milwaukee. I get the privilege of doing it because I have more clients in this day and age that are moving from outside of the area who don't have any tether to Milwaukee. Like they've never been here. They might have like a distant relative that lives here, but they're moving here for a job or an opportunity. And I get to show them this city for the first time. They get to see, like, it's almost like it's the biggest surprise in the world. And they leave going, how did I not know about this area? And, over the last decade, the city has taken this sort of turn and it's pushed forward. And it's become a destination as opposed to just being conveniently located next to Chicago. Like, that's like the last best thing about us.
Mm. Yeah, that's something you portray quite often on your social channels. Like you're always trying to push Milwaukee more and more. And that's kind of why I said you're kind of Mr. Milwaukee. It's like it's always about showing people from outside the city and the surrounding area, right? So but with that comes, I don't want to say misconception. Social media is a weird trap. I talked about it in the last episode with Jody. We talked about it in the past. But what do you think there's a perception about you on social media that you don't like or maybe you do like? What's the number one thing you think people think of Newby?
I don't know, actually. That's the weird thing is that like I don't like to assume anything.
Okay.
So like I don't know. Like people tell me things, I'm like, okay, that kind of makes sense. I guess that's something I would do or say. but I'm not really 100% sure. You know me as well as most. You tell me something that people think about me or maybe think I do, know, say, whatever, based on the perception that they see on social media. Yeah, good or bad or otherwise. I don't know. I'm just curious.
Yeah,
What do you think?
I think you do have that instantaneous likability. We talked about that before. I do think, as you mentioned before, that's fear of not being liked is why that comes out. But I don't sense that on social at all. Because you
No.
get a lot of people that'll post stuff because they want likes and comments and all of that. But you're not that.
No, I don't. I don't need the likes or
No.
the validation. I do genuinely love. Like, I love letting people, or not letting. I love when people can tell a story, tell their story, and you know the whole concept of newbies list for newbies. A client of mine, now a client, but this was in 2020. No, 2021. Yeah, 2021. A gentleman, Joe Kurth, hello, Joe, moved here from South Bend, Indiana, to run the Milwaukee Athletic Club. And I was a member of the Milwaukee Athletic Club at the time. My wife was begging us to leave because we never used it. But I thought that it would become this great spot as soon as the remodel was done and whatever. And Joe co-signed that, and we, connected at a Bucks playoff party, and we had a conversation, and I gave him a couple of recommendations on places he and his wife should check out now that they were in Milwaukee. He loved the recommendations. We got coffee the day that my wife was induced with my daughter, to give birth to my daughter, and he said, "You have great recommendations. You should have a list and call it Newby's List for Newbies. And then whoever's new, you send that list out to them, and it's like their welcome guide to Milwaukee."
Did we just get the origin story?
That's
of
the origin story,
name?
100%. Joe Kurth,
That's awesome.
And so Joe gave me that idea. It took years, almost literally years, because I started doing the videos in 2023 or 2024.
Yeah.
So it took some years, but I thought it'd be cool to do it. And it sort of took off based on, that. So the idea behind it was that if you're new to this area, you need to know these certain things. And if people who are locals are kind of stuck in people get busy and they get bogged down. They don't necessarily have the bandwidth to know all of the new restaurants or the best plumbers or the best, tailors or whatever it's going to be. And so when people are moving here, if they're asking people who are way too busy to focus on the goings-on of the greater metro area, they're not going to get the best recommendations. And that might sour their first impression of Milwaukee. And at that point in time, you're just convincing them from then on. I want people to buy into Milwaukee the first meal they have. If it's going to Hen's Deli in Walker's Point, if it's going to the Inn in Heartland, I want people to understand that first customer experience, that first meal that they have, I could find myself making this place a home.
Yeah.
I can see what living here is going to be about.
Yeah.
And if I'm the person that introduces you to those things, you're building trust with me. We're organically building trust.
You're a value adder.
Yeah.
And with everybody. Not only with the business that you're talking about and promoting, but with the people that are watching it and understanding, what you're trying to teach them. But in real estate too, whenever you have a client, you're trying to walk them through the biggest purchase of their life, right? Sure. And you introduce them to the right people, and I'm lucky enough to be a part of that process. So I always look at you as a value adder because you add value to me, you add value to other businesses, you add value to homeowners, you add value to your peers in your office. But that's the way that I look at you, and I think a lot of people see you that way.
And that's nice of you to say. Honestly, I think it's like I'm not an actor or a writer on The Wire. But if someone tells me they've never seen The Wire, I'm like, you need to go see that show. Okay, the people who created The Wire, they're responsible for the greatness of The Wire. I just made the introduction. So if I make the introduction to The Wire and you love the show, you're like, oh my God, how did I never see this? I can't believe I never even checked this out. I get to binge it. Da, da, da. Now I've gained some level of trust. This guy, if I tell you, I watched The West Wing the other day and I finished it. It was great. Never heard of The West Wing, but you've told me about The Wire. And so you know what? I might check that out.
Yeah.
If I can, that's organic trust building.
Absolutely.
And everyone selfishly loves to make a recommendation that people love, like.
Yeah, go online and ask for a realtor. You get a 400
Exactly,
different answers.
exactly. And listen, I love whenever like someone's on Facebook and they're like, hey, looking for a realtor, and the comments are flooded with like 50 different names. Mm-hmm. Every single person that's commenting that name is like, this person is the best. Mm-hmm. You've got to go with X person at X brokerage. I love that. If you have people who are out there who are riding for you that way, like, I think that's better for everyone, And if I'm going to tell you right now that, shockingly, if you knew it or didn't know it, Carson's has one of the best lunch menus of all time. The salads are incredible. But if you are now making action based on my recommendation and it's validated, then that's the level of trust that we can go about. So my whole thing is I want to build trust on livability, how you live here. If you want to live in a walkable neighborhood where you can like walk to the grocery store, walk to the coffee shop, walk to get, a salad or a sandwich for lunch, whatever, I'm the guy to tell you where to go. If you want a place where you have space and you have more distance, but you have peace, but you also have access to the city, I can tell you where to go. If you want nothing to do with the city, and you want just all the space in the world, and you want to disappear when the 5 o'clock hour hits, and you're out of the office and you're home, and you want to just disappear, you want silence and solace, I can help you find that sanctuary too. And so just being as knowledgeable as I can possibly be on how to live, and then also how the market operates, I consider myself a resource that hopefully people look to utilize.
That's awesome. I'm from northern Wisconsin. Most people would call it from down here. But is that a Southern roots thing for you? Is that right to say or no? Because you have Southern twang to you yet.
Yeah, I know. It still pops in and out. I think what it really is that you just want people to feel like the questions are being answered, and we're working together on something. I love to like I'm a welcoming person. Like if you come to my house, whatever's in the house, you can, whatever. There's a bottle of bourbon that's not open. It was waiting for you to get here to open it up. If there's leftovers in the fridge that, look good to you, go for it. The microwave, 30-second buttons right there. It's just like, it's a very accommodating thing. Sometimes I'm too accommodating. But at the same time, I think that everyone loves the idea of having an ally with whatever they're going through. They're trying to get their footing. I know some of the smartest people I've ever met in my entire life who have never purchased a house before. They hop into this opportunity to buy a house with complete ignorance. And they don't have they're like, oh my God, I feel bad that I know nothing. Don't feel bad. Ask the stupid questions. I want to give you the answers. I want to find the answers. I want to let you know if that retaining wall is your responsibility or the neighbor's. Like, I'll find that out for you. One less thing for you to stress out about is making the path easier on the road to getting what you want.
Sure.
If I can do those things, then I'm helping that process out. And again, it's a reputation business. So if you're satisfied, hopefully your friends and family will learn about that and look to come on over too.
Yeah. Speaking of friends and family, so your wife is a saint.
The best.
I love her.
She's the best.
She challenges you though. So and she's probably your number one critic.
She is, which I think everyone's spouse should be each other's number one critic.
I would agree,
but not publicly. But you know.
Yeah, it's a whole other rabbit hole.
Not fully publicly,
It's a whole other rabbit hole we could probably go down. But what maybe give me something that she would tell you that you need to be a little bit better at now that this is a public forum.
Putting my phone down.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that I fall into that like wormhole, the rabbit hole or whatever it is, way too easily. and it won't even just be like doom scrolling. I think that like if I have an idea for something, I want to make sure that I vet it as quickly as I can, and that might come at the wrong hour of the day. That might come when I really should be taking a beat and spending time with my kids. My son got his first haircut last week, and he aged 2 years and grew a foot instantly. It was like I thought you were this little, and now you look like a little boy. Like you're growing, and I think that happens really quickly. The phone also does a good job of reminding you about the past. So you scroll on your iPhone, you swipe right too many times, and you're going to see a little preview of photos from over the years. And if it's a picture of my daughter from 2022, I'm just like, gobsmacked instantly that she was that little before, and she's just turned 5 this summer. So I think that like, if I could be more intentional about spending the time with my kids that I enjoy, when I do it, like if I can be more intentional about doing that and making that a priority, that would be great.
What's like a morning routine thing that you guys do as a family? What's something that you enjoy?
Mornings is too chaotic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just, my daughter's going to complain about whatever pair of shoes she has to wear. My son's going to want every piece of chocolate that exists in the house. And it's going to be, let's get everyone out of the house the best way possible, which is hopefully clothed and without blood. But in the evening, bedtime with my daughter, I've really started to enjoy those more. Now reading books to her that are, more than Llama Llama, like books that actually, like the Junie B. Jones books.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got those,
Yeah.
so we're
Of
reading
course.
like those. Those are fun. I've been reading Shel Silverstein books, to like Where the Sidewalk Ends and those little poem books with her. She says her words. She goes, "I'm kind, I'm smart, I'm beautiful, I work hard, and I can do hard things." And then I have her say her prayers, and then she tells me one thing that she was most proud of that day. And so like going through that with her is a lot of fun. And my son's not yet at the age where like, because he's 2, and he's kind of like, all he cares about is his baba, which is a bottle of milk to go to bed, which we're trying to wean him off of. But I think the end of the nights are a lot more fun than the starts of the day, for sure. Yeah.
I'm the opposite, actually. The start of our days are pretty chill. I'm just making breakfast. At night, it's like nightmare getting kiddos to bed. Like, they do not want to go to sleep. And it's actually when they have the most amount of energy. It's crazy in my household. We should swap. We should do a swap.
I'm a morning person. My wife is not a morning person. My children are just like my wife. So
Thank goodness.
That's
by
where
the way.
that's where the chaos comes in. Well, they both look like her, especially my son.
Also, thank goodness. That's funny. So, I have rapid questions, right?
Sure.
Hot take stuff. You ready? You want to do this real quick? No, unless it's really funny, we don't have to.
No, I love it. I'm all in.
All right, well, let's do it.
I do rapid fire with some of my. I've been doing that more recently now with my videos. So
All right. So you're used to this, but now you're on the other end.
I am. Let's go. All
right, ready?
Gauntlet.
First spot you take somebody in Milwaukee when they've never been here.
Birch.
Okay. Most underrated Milwaukee neighborhood.
Washington Heights.
Nice. Best Milwaukee food category.
Mexican food. I think the South
That's a
Side
hot
has. Well, okay, El Sonorial, like Carnitas Don Lucho. Like
Okay.
I think they're just like so many just absolute standouts.
Okay. All right. Lakefront day or neighborhood pub crawl.
Honestly, so last year, some really good friends of ours put on a West Dallas pub crawl, and it was amazing. So I would say a neighborhood pub crawl.
Okay. Yeah. I think both are really solid, but they're so separate and different.
Yeah.
Biggest Milwaukee misconception.
There's nothing to do here.
Yeah. Clearly, we can go on a pub crawl.
I mean, you go to the lake.
We can go to Lakefront. Oh, man. One place locals should stop sleeping on,
Ooh, one place locals should stop sleeping on.
other than Novus Home Mortgage.
A place that locals should stop sleeping on. Poppy Bakery. And I don't know that everyone knows it exists because it's only about a year old, but I don't know that I've ever been to a better bakery. And the people who know, and the lines are long. But if you don't know about Poppy, go to Poppy.
Okay.
Go to Poppy.
All right, we'll finish up with a couple more.
Yes, keep going.
The most misunderstood part about you is?
That I'm always working unintentionally. I think that I'm always working. Like I'm not a cold caller. I'm not gonna, there are agents who are great on the phones. There are agents who are, great picking up the phone and, prospecting. Who do you know that wants to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? That's not
Not
me.
your style.
I'm just not good at it. So my way of lead generating is just being seen. Like the more events I go to, the more, dinners I'm entertaining people at. Like the more frequently those are happening, the more top of mind I am. So that's my job is like not one that you really retire from. It's not one that you're always sort of like punching the clock and sitting in front of a computer. So I'm always kind of working.
The way that you do it, for sure. I love that. Two last questions. One, what is one habit that completely changed your life?
One habit that's completely changed my life. Ooh.
Or partially changed your life?
Can I say habit or hire?
Sure.
So I don't want to call it a hire as much as it was like an appointment, but I have a business partner / assistant / whatever you want to call her, Bridget Gallagher, who has made my life.
She's unbelievable.
I mean,
I can vouch for her.
I cannot express how much easier my life is. My dad would always tell me, "You are the person that I want in front of the meeting, making the pitch. You're not the person that I want handling the details leading up to that." And God rest his soul, he was right. And honestly, like I think Bridget does a great job of handling the details while I'm focused on the message.
Love that. And I would agree. She's amazing.
And so when it comes to either with lender partners, title partners, clients, that has changed my life.
Cool.
And my daughter, even yesterday, swear to God, she goes, I was on the phone with her, and then my son goes, "Who was that?" And I go, "It was Bridget." And then he goes, "Bridget." And my daughter Ella goes, "Bridget, not Bridget." And I'm like, "That's exactly right." And I don't know how you know that, but that's exactly right.
That's awesome.
But yeah, she's been incredible. And my wife is always like, "Keep Bridget happy. Whatever Bridget has to do to be happy, like give her some time off, whatever she needs.
Yeah.
Keep her happy."
And congratulations to Bridget. She just got engaged.
She did.
It's
And
awesome.
Alejandro's great. They're going to be they're a world-beating couple. They're
That's
amazing.
awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. All right, and then last but not least, one more thing. Now, this no pressure because
Sure.
this is a simple question. Who should we have on CTC next? Now, keep in mind, Jody was the pilot episode, first guy, my area manager. He said to have Newby on next, and you're here. So, if we can keep the train rolling, who do you recommend we should have on?
I don't think that there's a person better at their job in real estate, in the world of real estate, maybe in this country, than Charlie Stale is at his job. Charlie Stale was our team leader, as in like at Keller Williams, like you have an operator, I guess a GM of the office, and as we've grown, he's become sort of the president of all of our offices now. But in that team leader role, there is not a professional that touches what he does. I think that if you are at other brokerages and you're able to come and hear Charlie speak, whether it's at KW or in the wild somewhere, you realize that there's something special that he offers that no one else does. And I'm very thankful to call him a friend and a coworker / person who could tell me to leave. So I guess boss,
Yeah, I love Charlie. He's amazing. He told me one time that a rising tide lifts all ships.
That's right.
And you and I are two of those ships in the harbor. Thanks for tuning in to CTC, guys. I appreciate you being here, Newby. Until next time, see ya.